Sofia Sokolove is the managing editor of the University of Texas alumni magazine, The Alcalde, and a freelance reporter and writer. Her work has appeared in the Washington Post, Texas Highways, Austin Monthly, Culture Map, and Eater, among other places. The former events and development director of Austin Batcave, she now serves as an associate board member. Everyone, give it up for Sofia.
Hi guys. I have to say, as the events and development person here at Batcave for about a year, I was on the other side of this. It is so much more terrifying to be on this side of it. But yeah, thanks for having me for it. So both of my parents are journalists, and when I tell people this, they're like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! That's amazing!" And that must have been so great growing up in a household like that. And it is amazing. I mean, now that I'm in the family business, if we want to call it a business, it's, they're my biggest mentors, they're my best editors, they have taught me and instilled in me deep compassion and curiosity. It is not cool to be a high schooler with two parents who are reporters. Like, it is fucking hell. I mean, there is just nothing that would get past their professional grade bullshit detector. Like, from the smallest hiding your report card to the, trying to make a friend sound like a parent who was home when there was no parents home. I mean, it was awful, and none of my friends understood. It was like, why? I don't understand. Why didn't this work for you? It's like, they're trained to ask people questions for a living. Like, this just isn't going to go over. And I had a lot of things to lie about in high school. Like, I was not a great high schooler. I used to skip school to go drink Natty Light in basements. I had a huge unrequited crush on this boy who was awful, so I was just miserable all the time, and would stay up till 3 a.m. talking to him on Instant Messenger. And then my parents would have this guy come to the house. I mean, this is hilarious. The computer guy who would come to the house and clean out all 3 PCs at the house because they had too many malware on it. And they would ask him to also take the Instant Messenger off my computer because they didn't know how to do it. And then I would re-download it. So I was exhausted all the time, in love with someone who didn't love me back. And I was just I was telling them a bunch of lies, and they would be like, "That's a lie," and then we just scream at each other. And this got really bad when it was my senior year of high school, because I was a swimmer my whole life. I used to practice 7 times a week. I was a really competitive swimmer, and I hurt my shoulder. And so I just no longer had endorphins coursing through my body, and I lost my identity. I was no longer this swimmer, and I had so much time to get in trouble. And I had so much time to fight with my parents. So my dad and I just got to a point, I mean, we couldn't even be in the same room or on the same level of the house. It was really bad. I mean, there's just doors slamming, my brother would start crying. It's this isn't about you. What? It's about us. I think one time my dad was we're going to go to the Starbucks down the street and talk about this, thinking that I wasn't going to yell at him in public. And I'm pretty sure the barista was "You're going to need to leave. I'm sorry. This isn't appropriate." So my dad starts sending me these emails. It's the only way he can talk to me. I mean, or he thought he could talk to me. And because he's a thoughtful, brilliant journalist, they're long-form investigative journalism pieces on why I'm a terrible teenager. It's they're highly reported, the data is in there, they're fact-checked by my mother, and they're just mean, the tone is mean. It's you used to read anymore and now you don't. Who are you? Who have you become? These are not the values of our family. It's just they were kind of rough. And it's important now to tell you something else about my dad, which he is not the most technologically advanced person I know. my name with 23, the number 23 after it. She's like, why the number 23? It's like, well, I don't know, it's really weird, you know, my name was taken. It was some guy in Russia or something. Our last name is Russian. So my mom's like, that's really weird. So she's like looking up her like Russian doppelganger husband and finds a photo of my dad and realizes for him that he had set up an Instagram like 2 years ago, completely forgot, went to set it up again, and like thought he was being trolled by like a Russian man. Like that's where he is on like the scale of like digital savviness. And I tell you that because it'll be believable that he got his daughter's email wrong. And so my email in high school was sofolove@gmail. It's no longer working, so you can't email me there. And he sends one of these like Maggie Haberman style like missiles to SOFALOVE, Sokolove. It turns out that Sokolove is like a really washed up cover band who's doing like the college circuit in Rhode Island. It's like college bar town circuit. And the like front runner, like loose term, of Sofa Man emails my dad back. And is like, hey man, like, I think you've got the wrong address, but, you know, I don't want to overstep, but it just seems like you really love your daughter, and, like, I just think you should lighten up. Like, I've been estranged from my parents for, like, 25 years. Like, I wish they had taken a different tone with me. Like, you know, like, I just wanted to say that. I just really think, like, you should be a little bit, you know, nicer to her. And my dad's in like no place to take edits from like this like bassist. And so he just like deletes the email, copies and pastes what he meant to send to me, sends it off. I'm sure we got in some screaming fit about it. Whatever. Never think of it again. I recover from my shoulder injury, like I get over this charming dude, life goes on. My dad and I no longer have to communicate over email, like, you know, my hormones stop coursing through my body. As anyone with a teenager, I'm sure can attest to, like, things get better. Like, we move past it. And I think it was my sophomore year of college, my parents came to see me swim in a meet. And, you know, they're there for the weekend, they take me and my friends out to dinner, my mom and I decorate my dorm room a little bit, and they leave, and my dad gets home, and he just shoots off this email to me like, hey, Soph, you know, it was just so great to see you swim, congrats on your races, and, you know, we just love seeing you thriving, and we love you so much. We can't wait for you to come home for Christmas. He gets an email back. Hey, dude, it's me, Dad. So glad to hear things are going better. This story. Like, there was no place for me to hear about, like, the original Sokolove situation at the time, because, like, it wasn't funny to him. Like, I think he was using those emails, like, you know, as a writer, as a way to, like, deal with this loss of not being able to talk to his daughter. Like, I don't think he should have been sending them to me. That's, like, what his journal should have been for. But, you know, like, that was not, like, funny then. So I hear this story for the first time now, like, you know, in college when we get the second Sokolove email. And I thought before this story about reaching out to him, I thought, like, what's he up to? Like, is he still on the Rhode Island bar circuit? Like, is he here at South by? Like, maybe, like, I don't know, like, things have gone really well for him. And then I just thought, like, no, I mean, he's become this mythical, like, creature for us and our family. We tell the story all the time. Like, he just seemed to tap in and know something that was so hard for us to realize at the time. We were in the weeds of a difficult time, and he was like, you guys love each other. Like, it's fine, she's sneaking out. Like, calm down. And also, like, you could be estranged for 25 years. Like, be careful. And I don't know, I wanted to keep it there. So I have no idea what Sokolove is up to, but he's a name we use often in our household. So.